Light to earth, a star shone in the east, and wise men journeyed from afar to hail the Prince of Peace. So let us all sing Jesus' name to light the winter's dark, and may his light grow brighter still with each new year we mark. When Moses brought his light to earth, his tribe from bondage led, in desert water from the rock, in wilderness sweet bread. So let us all sing Moses' name to light the winter's dark, and may his light grow brighter still with each new year we mark. When the prophet brought his light to earth, he reconciled his foes. When 4 clans raised the black stone high upon his holy cloak. So let us praise the prophet's name to light the winter's dark, and may his light grow brighter still with each new year we mark. When the Buddha brought his light to earth, he saw beyond love and hate. He said to end all suffering, each mind must be awake. So let us sing the Buddha's name to light the winter's dark, and may his light grow brighter still with each new year we mark. When the lady brought her light to earth, she took us to her breast. Each fin and feather, hoof and horn by her were brightly blessed. So let us sing the lady's name to light the winter's dark, and may her light grow brighter still with each new year we mark. When we all brought our light to earth, we made it a better place. We loved and lost, yet loved again, and learned from our mistakes. So let us sing each other's names to lighten winter's dark, and may our light grow brighter still with each new year we mark. So let us sing each
service today. We are so blessed this morning to have the Fairfax Choir joining our choir for a special music worship. And I have to say, I was listening to them rehearse, and some of us were here early listening to them rehearse, and we are in for a very special treat this morning. I am the Reverend Dana Edwards, and my pronouns are she and her, and I am honored to welcome you to this time of connection and celebration. I am a petite white woman with curly brown hair, and I'm wearing a pink sweater and blue pants and blue high heels. And at Cedar Lane, we are a community where love works. Yay! We strive to embody a beloved community by creating a space where everyone is welcome, regardless of their background, their beliefs, their sexual orientation, gender identity, disability, documentation status, or life experience. You are all welcome here to bring your whole and holy, perfectly and perfect selves here this morning. And we already have a full house, which, for Unitarian Universalists is unheard of to have everybody arrive early. So if you are at the end of a row and you have some seats in the middle, if you could just scooch in so that people who come in a little late feel welcome and have a place to sit. So if you can just scooch in to the middle of your row, that would be great if there's room. And there's room if you want to join the choir. They're always looking for new members. If you're new here this morning or you're feeling new, we'd love to connect with you. If you're here in person, please raise your hand. And if you're joining us online, you can introduce yourself in the chat. Let's give everyone a warm Cedar Lane welcome. And after the service, please do join us for some fellowship and refreshments in the fellowship hall. It's a great chance to deepen your connections with one another. And there's always a puzzle in there if you're an introvert like me, and it's easier to talk to people if you're also doing something. We always have something in there for you to do. And while you're in there, if you feel new, feel free to pick up a yellow mug, because at Cedar Lane, yellow means hello. Today, as we gather for worship, let us embrace the lively, multi-generational spirit of this community. Feel free, all ages are welcome to use our creative listening materials to stay engaged throughout the service. And if you need support from our caring ministry team, led by Betsy Banks, is here for you. Betsy, can you raise your hand? There she is. And we are delighted this morning to have Richard Nugent, here, a Cedar Lane member, joining us this morning, Reverend Richard Nugent. Reverend Richard is in his 17th year heading the UUA Office for Church Staff Finances, which is essentially the human resources office of our congregations, all of our congregations in the UUA, and providing benefits, sample contracts, and ongoing advice. And honestly, I have to add, very deep and meaningful pastoral care for our ministers. Before joining the UUA national staff in 2008, Richard served 7 congregations, including Townsend, Columbia, Fairfax, Arlington, and the Washington Ethical Society, as their interim ministers. And before his calling as a UU minister, Richard worked for more than 2 decades as a Senate staffer and health policy and disability rights advocate downtown. Wow, that's quite the resume. He also lived and worked for 2 years in Indonesia, and Reverend Richard it is wonderful to be sharing the pulpit with you this morning. So will you join me up here?
Thanks. Thanks, Reverend Dana. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am an aging elder, cis white gentle person, today wearing a red festive sweater and my special green holly seasonal stole. On a personal note, I'd like to express appreciation for the many expressions of love extended to me during the past 2 years as I have been challenged with esophageal cancer, which at the moment they say there is no detectable. And during the past 7 weeks, my wife has been recovering from open heart surgery. We seem to have both beaten the odds, however. I'm delighted to be here this morning, in particular because I had served as the interim senior minister, as Dana mentioned, of the Fairfax congregation from 2003 to 2005, if I recall. Then and now, Fairfax has had an extraordinary music program, and listening this morning, I would agree that both Cedar Lane and Fairfax have extraordinary music programs. Michael and Laura doing a great job. So welcome, Fairfax.
And now in the spirit of love and connection, let us turn and greet one another. Turn to a neighbor with a warm hello, and if you are online, say hello in the chat.
are still a few seats for folks who are brave enough to sit in the first row or in the middle. Raise your hand if there's an open seat, please. And there's one right over here. So please, the cue sticks will be much better inside than in the back. Well, we are well within the annual season of light, hope, joy, community, and love. In the coming weeks, people will be celebrating the solstice, Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa. As people of faith, we are pausing this morning to reflect upon the meaning of this season in both words and music. In the Christian tradition, today is the third Sunday of Advent. Advent is a time of anticipation and preparation for the celebration of the birth of a child in a manger many, many years ago. Celebrating Christmas is well established for Unitarian Universalists, given our Christian roots, and we continue to have Christian-identified congregations, even within the Washington area, within our association and membership. In the words of our colleague, the Reverend Allison Miller, quote, "The journey of Advent means opening our hearts and making room there for belief. If we not dare to hope that this world, flawed with human beings, cannot be turned towards a redeeming love, then we will surely miss the miracle when it occurs." As the great 20th century Unitarian religious educator Sophia Foz explained, "For so the children come, and so they have been coming, always in the same way they come. No angels heralding their beginnings, no prophets predict their courses. Yet each night a child is born is a holy night. Fathers and mothers sitting beside their children, sitting beside their children's cribs, feeling glory in the sight of a new life beginning. Each night a child is born is a holy night, a time for singing, a time for wandering, a time for worshiping. In this gathering of our beloved community, let us join together to reflect, celebrate, and rejoice."
Good morning. I'm Caroline Ribbs. My pronouns are she and her, and I am your worship associate this morning. I'm a white female with brown wavy hair. It's up in kind of like a clip, and I have on a red dress and a gray sweater over top. In our Unitarian Universalist tradition, we light a chalice as a symbol of our shared faith and community. Got names here, okay. Chuck and Ben Plager, Melissa Reichley, and Katie Schneer light our chalice. I invite you to share in the chat where you are lighting your chalice from if you are joining us online. Please rise in body or in spirit and join me in the chalice lighting words. Everything is about to change, and it already has. It will be, it was, it is. Stones of justice have been tossed in the lake, but their ripples have not yet arrived. This is what is promised us. The wheel of life turns ever on, and darkness is a path to joy.
Let's stay standing. We're going to do our first carol. Can you hear me? Yes. Good. So the first carol is Holly and the Ivy, and it's actually not listed in your order of celebration there. It got left out for some reason. But we'll sing. We have instrumental verses, and then, yes. And so I will cue the instruments when they're playing, and then we'll sing 2 of the 5 verses. It's just really the 2 that you see there on your extra carol sheet. So we'll have our instrumentalists start us.
A reading for joy by Jan Richardson. A blessing. You can prepare, but still, it will come to you by surprise. Crossing through your doorway, calling your name and greeting, turning like a child who quickens suddenly within you. It will astonish you how wide your heart will open and welcome for the joy that finds you so ready, yet still so unprepared. Thank you so much, choir. I told you all we were in for a treat this morning. Yay. So now is the time for our wisdom story. I invite you, if you are a kid, to snuggle up with your parents as we share a story, or snuggle up with yourself. If your parents are in the choir, that's also okay. And you can just give yourself a big hug if you need to. Aw. Or if you're Vaughn, you can come join your mommy over here. Vaughn, you want to come join your mom? Yeah, great idea. So once we're all nice and cozy, I have a special story to share with you this morning called "'Twas the Night Before Yuletide." 'Twas the night before Yuletide, and all through the glen not a creature was stirring, not a fox, not a hen. A mantle of snow shone brightly that night as it lay on the ground, reflecting moonlight. The fairies were nestled all snug in their trees, unmindful of flurries and a chilly north breeze. The elves and the gnomes were down in their burrows, sleeping like babes in their soft earthen furrows. When lo, the earth moved with a thunderous quake, causing chairs to fall over and dishes to break. The little folks scrambled to get to their feet, then raced to the river where they usually meet. What happened, they wondered, they questioned, they probed as they shivered in nightclothes, some bare-armed, some robed. What caused the earth shudder? What caused her to shiver? They all spoke at once as they stood by the river. Then what to their wondering eyes should appear but a shining gold light in the shape of a sphere? It blinked and it twinkled, it winked like an eye, and then it flew straight up and was lost in the sky. Before they could murmur, before they could bustle, there emerged from the crowd a swish and a rustle. A stately old crone with a cane in her hand, resplendent and green, with a flowing white mane. As she passed them, the old crone's perfume, smelling of meadows and flowers abloom, made each of the fey folk think of the spring, when the earth wakes from the slumber and the birds start to sing. My name is Gaia, the old crone proclaimed, in a voice that at once was both wild and tamed. I've come to remind you, for you seem to forget, that Yule is a time for rebirth, and yet I see no hearth fires, hear no music, no bells. The air isn't filled with rich, fragrant smells of baking and roasting and simmering stews, of cider that's mulled or other hot brews. There aren't any children at play in the snow or houses lit up by candles aglow. Have you forgotten, my children, the fun of celebrating the rebirth of the sun? She looked at the fey folks, her eyes going round as they shuffled their feet and stared at the ground. And then she smiled the smile that brings light to the day. Come, my children, she said, let's play. They gathered the mistletoe, gathered the holly, threw off the drab and drew on the holly. They lit a big bonfire and they danced and they sang. They brought out the bells and clapped when they rang. They strung lights on the trees and boughs, oh, so merry, in the colors of cranberry, bayberry, and cherry. They built giant snowmen, adorned them with hats, then surrounded them with snowbirds and snow cats and snow bats. Then just before dawn, at the end of their fest, before they went homeward to rest, the fey folk, they gathered round their favorite oak tree and welcomed the sun 'neath the tree's finery. They were just reaching home when it suddenly came. The gold light returned like an arrow shot flame. It lit on the treetop where they could see from the golden-like sphere turn in to a star. The old crone just smiled at the beautiful sight. Happy Yuletide, my children, she whispered. Good night. And now we will sing our children out to their classes, except for the children's choir, who will stay until they sing. So.
Let's rise in body or in spirit, and/or in spirit. I like to say and/or. And we'll sing O Come Emmanuel, our second carol, again on the sheet with you.
To
I invite you into a moment of prayer and quiet reflection. I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the earth and the chair supporting you. And just take a moment to breathe and center yourself. Spirit of life and love, we gather this morning to celebrate and enjoy each other, enjoy this beautiful music that we're hearing. And we also know that feelings don't travel alone. And with some joy can come memories and can come mixed emotions of sadness and grief. And we are grateful that we are here to hold it all together, to remind each other that we are not alone and that we can lean on each other in times of need. We can lean on each other to find our light when it seems to have dimmed, when it seems to have gone out. We always have this community to return to again and again. And in this community, every Sunday and throughout the week, we can find peace, hope, joy, and love. And when we are missing those things, we can return to each other and share our peace, hope, joy, and love. Amen, and blessed be. As we enter the silence together, you're invited to rise in body or in spirit to speak the names of the loved ones that you're holding in remembrance or to share their names in the chat.
Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come within as love to dwell. The translation for Emmanuel is God is with us. In our tradition, God is often defined as an all-embracing love, an unconditional love that knows no ending. As the wheel of the seasons turn, and as we are brought closer and closer to the sun, we are reminded how love is the source of compassion and warmth. Love animates our days, informs our decisions, and quickens our hearts. Love knows us, holds us, nurtures us. May love find us this Advent season and encourage us to be more present to ourselves and to those around us. In this holy season of light, the world is in such need of love. Love that moves through all beings, entwining together the whole and holy universe. Perhaps by bringing our full hearts to the community, giving love immeasurable with a generous spirit and a joyous heart, perhaps our love will ripple out into the world, just as that pebble tossed into a lake ripples out in a widening circle. We are part of the whole. The whole of creation moves in and through us in every moment of our lives. In this knowing, our love, compassion, and generosity build a more beloved community. This year, the evening of December 25th marks the beginning of Hanukkah. Menorah candles will be lit, latkes, potato pancakes will be served, and children and some adults will enjoy the spinning of the dreidel with Hanukkah gelt, usually chocolate shaped like gold coins. The story of Hanukkah dates back to the year 167 before the Common Era. In that year, upon rededicating of the temple, one vial of oil, normally enough for just a single day, miraculously burnt for 8 days and 8 nights. The 8 days of Hanukkah are an invitation to each of us to remember and appreciate our own struggles to keep our own faith alive. The 8 days of Hanukkah are also an invitation to consider how politics, religion, and culture can collide. It is timely given the quagmire that prevents resolution of the current war in Palestine. The 8 days of Hanukkah are also an invitation to reflect on where we draw our own individual lines between popular culture and our values. How far are we willing to surrender our own individual values in order to blend seamlessly into the larger community? How are you tending your own inner flame? The dark nights that plague our individual spirits are real, as are the dark nights that the coming years are likely to bring. For those of us experiencing those moments of doubt, fear, and uncertainty, we need to see and experience the light of hope. Make yourself a light, the Buddha taught his followers. Each of us has the capacity to radiate light from deep within us if we are mindful to tender our inner flame. Lighting the candles of Hanukkah and lighting the light of our chalice are concrete reminders to each of us that it takes our commitment and our actions to tend the fires of our collective vision. We need to keep the light on for the weary travelers in our community.
Thank you, Richard. I want to read those last sentences again because I think that they're relevant to the offering. It takes our commitment and our actions to tend the fires of our collective vision. We need to keep the light on for the weary travelers in our community. And this is the essence of why we take an offering every Sunday morning. To tend the collective fires of our collective vision. And as we gather in this sacred space, we are invited to invest in Cedar Lane's mission and vision for the deep and high quality worship that we're experiencing today, to fund things like the Potomac Partnership, which is what has made today happen, the connections that we've been able to forge between Fairfax and Cedar Lane. So our offering is more than just financial support. It's an act of commitment to this beloved community and to the values that we hold dear. Through our generosity, we empower Cedar Lane to be a place where love does actually work and where justice is pursued and where all are welcome. Cedar Lane also relies on the pledged financial support of each of us. Your financial generosity sustains our programs, strengthens our community partnerships, and allows us to grow in faith, service, and connection. So whether you're making a one-time gift today or supporting our Share the Plate partner or renewing your commitment through a pledge, every single contribution plays a vital role in strengthening our community and advancing our mission. Today, we are honored to share the plate with the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. UUSC is an international NGO rooted in the Unitarian Universalist belief that all people have inherent power and dignity. The UUSC began in 1939 with an effort to help refugees escape Nazi Germany. And today, the UUSC supports self-determination and defends the right of people who are displaced due to climate, conflict, or economic hardships. and they respond to humanitarian crises as partners with people who access to aid is almost always limited. They center the voices of the most marginalized and build relationships with frontline grassroots movements. The UUSC is an effective agent for change in our time, in this time where we desperately need change. By partnering with the UUSC, we extend our impact beyond our walls, helping to create a more compassionate and just world. So whether you're giving online, by text, or mailing a check, or by placing your gift in the offering plate, every contribution, no matter the size, makes a real difference and a real impact. Let us give generously, knowing that together we have the power to make a difference. The offering will now be gratefully given and received.
of the children's faces full of wonder and surprise, of the laughter in their voices, the sweetness in their eyes, when they wake up in the morning with the feeling in their heart that there's joy in the air and they know that they're a part. Shine your light. Shine your light. Shine your light on me, a little candle, a little star, a little angel, a little children. Shine your light on me.
First off, I would be remiss not to say thanks to the wonderful musicians we have, the string today, and of course Jasmine every week. There are now a few more seats for some of you in the back if you would like to particularly sit in the first row. This coming Friday night, early Saturday morning, marks the winter solstice, the darkest night of the year. Where in the dark is the peaceful and tranquil? Where can you find peace? In the stillness of waiting with awe and reverence for this moment and the next, we prepare our hearts so that the seeds of love and joy may take root. Peace in our being allows the light within to shine and helps us to join our deepest desires and intentions with all those waiting and working for justice. And I should add, with the special collection today, the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee has been extraordinarily, profoundly directed by the Reverend Mary Catherine Moen, the minister who followed me as the interim at the Fairfax congregation before the UUA stowed her away. The Advent journey to peace asks us to fully participate, to not expect the work to come from only that which resides outside of our bodies, rather an inward peace that can light the way toward justice, a star in the night sky, a way to the world we hoped for. In the 19th century, the Unitarian minister Theodore Parker observed that the arc of the moral universe bends toward justice. A few others have used that phrase from time to time, but it was Theodore Parker. It is not a linear path, though, but it is a path. As we await what promises to be a challenging time for our nation, particularly our city and suburbs, I remember the words of the Reverend Dr. David Eaton, the senior minister of All Souls beginning in the 1960s. I discovered Unitarian Universalism approximately 50 years ago there. I was married there and I was ordained there. David ended most services with the words of Barrows Dunham. Now therefore, since the struggles deepen, since evil abides and good does not yet prosper, let us gather what strength we have, what confidence and valor, that our small victories may end in triumph, and the world awaited be a world attained. May we tend our fires. May we shine our lights even in the face of the darkest nights of the coming days and years.
is a time of waiting and preparing, a time of reflection and contemplation. Advent is a time to remember the dark. Remember that the darkness is as important as the light. The cold dark of winter is as important to life as the bright warmth of summer. Darkness is the home of entire ecosystems. places where we humans cannot survive. Darkness offers us the gift of rest, healing, and hope. It is in the darkness of sleep that our bodies are able to heal and rejuvenate. Darkness offers us opportunities for beauty and love to live in our lives. Conception begins in the dark womb. A great prophet was born at night, and the vastness of the universe can only be seen on the darkest of nights. Welcome the night. Give thanks for the life, rest, healing, hope, love, and beauty that are offered to us only in the darkness. It is often in the darkness that the work of peace begins.
Let us rise in body and spirit again, and we'll sing It Came Upon a Midnight Clear with instrumental intro again. I'm losing my voice. I'm so sorry. I won't be singing with you right now.
The Reverend Sears, one of the folks responsible for that lovely hymn, was a Unitarian minister of the 19th century. Just to give a little history here. A distinguishing emotion of religious liberals is that hope, not fear, is what feeds our souls. We are a people living our hope. For everything there is a season, a time to die and a time to be born. With the arrival of winter's low, dark sky, communities around the world look to the miracle of light as a sign of rebirth and a source of hope. We celebrate the promise of new life and recommit ourselves to the protection of everyone's right to their own radiant humanity. At this time of year, we are invited, as weary people have done since the beginning of time, to kindle tiny lights and whisper secret music, to cradle our hopes like the newborn children, to wonder what love looks like in practice, to await a new era with patience and preparation. This year, we may not feel like waiting is the best move. We may cry out and lament for lives and rights taken without account, joining our voices with all who cry for justice and peace. This year, sitting quietly in the midst of chaos might feel close to impossible. Finding the magic in this season of waiting can be difficult for many of us, not just this year, but every year. For how does one sit quietly when life can be so unkind? What about the times when we wait for word of family in conflict zones, of an injured friend or a dreaded diagnosis? Times when we wait for illness to set in for a child who does not arrive. We might find ourselves wishing that time would pass more quickly to get us to the other side of the nightmare. How do we live in that kind of waiting time? Allow yourselves to be fully present to all that is happening in each moment. When we do, we join our lives and our breath and our hearts with all who are waiting for justice, waiting for peace, waiting for a world reborn. In our waiting, hope comes. the way, those of you from Fairfax who might have been around when, I know there are some of you here who were around when I was there, you might remember a 3.5-year-old son of mine running around looking for bugs and climbing a few trees. I'm embarrassing him as he sits here. And I should add his love of bugs and his continued in a way. He's a biology major about to graduate, so in our worship, announcements aren't just updates. They're invitations to live our values and make a meaningful difference. Each opportunity we share here is a chance to connect, to grow, and to take action in ways that reflect who we are and what we stand for.
On Friday, December 20th, from 6 to 9 o'clock, come and enjoy Peace In, a night of self-healing. Slow down, way down, and come to a quiet presence. Join Night of Self-Healing with gentle movement exercises, a heart-opening cacao ceremony, sound bath, and guided meditation. There are only 2 slots that are still available, so register. You can register at tinyurl.com/CL, it's an all caps CL, cacao. There is a Congregation Action Network Know Your Rights training on Thursday, December 19th from 6 o'clock to 8 p.m. at St. Mark's Episcopal Church. Join United We Dream and the Congregation Action Network for an empowering evening focused on understanding your rights and learning how to take action related to immigrant justice. This event will provide resources, community connections, and tools to keep you safe.
Now for the fun one. Joy to the world. Shall we rise in body or in spirit? Sing. With our beautiful tree centered behind us, rigged up higher than usual. Sing with full spirit and full body and full voice. Let's hear it once from the instruments first.
Richard, before we start our our benediction, can we just acknowledge Michael Holmes and Laura Weiss for their excellent work? Thank you both. These are words from Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker. In the shadowed quiet of winter's light, earth speaks softly of her longing, because the wild places are in tears.
Come, she cries to us, kneel down here on the frosty grass, and feel the prayer buried in the ground. Bend your ear to my heart and listen hard.
Love this world, she whispers. Distill peace from the snow and water the cities with mercy.
Weave wonder from the forests and clothe grief with beauty.
Rest in the rhythms of the turning year. Trace the bending arc round the curve towards justice, and vow anew to do no harm.
The winter trees stand watch, hallowed in the last gleams of the slanting sun. Glory sings here, heaven echoes the call. Repeat the sounding joy.
Make your life an answer. Bow, praise, rise, repeat the sounding joy. May it be so.
Amen.
Amen.